Welcome to A Mindful Life. This is another exclusive in-depth video. Today I want to talk about mindfulness. A very short video, but very important. Mindfulness. Now, let me say this too. A Mindful Life, the book, is available on Amazon in print, audio, and digital versions. I highly suggest that you scoot on over and get the book. The book is an inspiration for the channel. And this is actually one of the topics in the book. See, mindfulness for me was something I didn't understand for a long time. Mindfulness was, I had a stereotype of mindfulness. I thought it meant dressing a certain way, living a certain life, being in a certain place. I didn't really understand what mindfulness was. And so I didn't think about getting into mindfulness. And there was a lot of language attached to mindfulness that I didn't understand. That wasn't a part of the culture I grew up in. So I didn't get into mindfulness. However, a little while ago, I began to have this idea of what meditation was. And because I do music, I began to understand this idea of meditation. When I would do music, it would seem like no matter what I was thinking about that day or what I was feeling would eventually sort of melt away. And I would just be one with the music that I was playing or singing. And for me, this was the birth of mindfulness. This is where mindfulness for me got its start. So what I eventually began to do later on is I said, let me try this. I was in a room I was in, and I would turn the fan on and turn the lights off. And what I would do was I would focus on the sound of the fan. Really focus on the sound of the fan, allowing myself to hear the real sound of the fan. Not an effort type focus, but an allowing type focus. I began to hear so many levels in the sound of a fan. Just from laying in a dark room, everything off but the fan. And I began to hear, excuse me, I began to hear so many levels of the fan. And then I began to feel smaller and smaller and smaller, but at the same time, bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. It was almost like I became everything and nothing at all. And my thoughts, the normal thoughts that I have, were gone. I would be thinking about what I was going to do tomorrow, the next day, what happened. After a while, those things would just start to float away. And I would become in this huge place of everything and nothing at the same time. And that's the way I describe it. Now, I realized that I didn't just have to lay in a room in the dark and listen to a fan to get this quiet mind. I realized that I could be doing anything and get into this place. Excuse me. I could do anything and get into this place of having a quiet mind. I could do music, as I said before. I could ride a bike. I could sing. I could dance. I could, whatever I was doing, it would bring me to that place. That to me is mindfulness. That to me is being everything and nothing. That to me is the potential, the infinite potential of all, and not even being who I am anymore, or what this personality is. This personality would go away. That was what I experienced as mindfulness. Now, during the process of mindfulness, I began to experience other things, like what I call state of being, and which I'll get into in another video. I began to experience the broader perspective during this process. I began to, which I will talk about in a later video, I also began to see. It was like things would just spontaneously happen where I would be somewhere. Just as real as this, just as physical as this during these meditations. And I wasn't calling on a deity. I wasn't trying to get into any tradition or anything. And these things would come before me as if they were real people, places, situations. Not emerge from my imagination, but appear. People, places I've never seen before would appear during this process of mindfulness, which I achieved through meditation. So I wanted to share that with you, mindfulness, because there tends to be some maybe even negativity around this idea, but it's really not negative. I used to pray and get into mindfulness. All right, so I hope that was really insightful for you guys, and I'm going to come back in the next video and talk about broader perspective and talk about what I call state of being, which is very crucial to understanding of all of this perspective business. State of being. All right, okay, well, thanks for coming. With that, peace out. A Mind for Life.